FOURce! It's FOURce YouTube toy collector team vlogging to save the day. FOURce! Nostalgic vintage toy heroes. FOURce!
FOURce is the codename of 4 daring, middle-aged, highly obsessed toy vloggers. Its purpose, to bring toy reviews and nostalgia to YouTube, a video sharing website that allows users to upload, view, share and comment. Hi, I'm Rudy Zissou, and be prepared to be amazed by the wonder of He-Man. So, here we have 2010's Masters of the Universe Wun-Dar. So, before I even get into the packaging and the figure and everything that comes with such an awesome character, I gotta tell you, I've wanted to get a Masters of the Universe figure for years and years. I'd say even back into the 90s and into the 2000s when I was collecting here and there, but it's become way more prevalent in the past couple of years that I wanted to pick up a Masters of the Universe figure for the collection, whether it be vintage or modern. And because I picked up Tigra lately and the WWF basic and elite figures, it spurred me into picking up a modern Masters of the Universe Classics figure. But even before then, it's been incredibly difficult to pick up a figure, to even choose a figure. Masters of the Universe is so vast, and I'm not even like thinking the classics range. I'm thinking vintage. You've got Masters of the Universe, and within that you've got He-Man, you've got She-Ra, you've got the New Adventures of He-Man from the early 90s. You've then got the rebooted He-Man and the Masters of the Universe from the early 2000s, 2001, 2002. And then you've got the Classics range, which is this, and then you've got Matty Collector. So there is an incredible amount of figures to choose from, and there's figures I've not even heard of. And it's just been a bit of a journey to finally choose Wun-Dar. I whittled it down to 2 from a modern era that I wanted to pick up, which was, I started off thinking, do I want to get the San Diego Comic-Con Laughing He-Man, which is awesome. It is literally just the face sculpt that makes that figure and his pink clothing. But I've got like plenty of like pink figures. I've got my gem, I've got Starscream's cape, the Decepticon clones, plenty of pink in them. There's pinks in Glacial Lord and various other 80s toys that I have a lot of pink in them. And the other one, as I said, is Wun-Dar, which is the homage to both Savage He-Man and the controversial, or the mass memory of a figure that didn't really exist, or did it? If you have time to watch the Netflix story of Masters of the Universe and how Wonderbread He-Man came about, please do. It's one of the standout episodes from The Toys That Made Us on Netflix. And how I got to Wun-Dar is watching that and watching Dan Larson on Toy Galaxy do his Oddity segment of his channel, of him and Greg that do Toy Galaxy, and it made the decision for me to go with Wun-Dar because it's full of intrigue and it fulfills a lot of what collecting is for me. You know, I love my rarities and my oddities. I love He-Man, and this is everything I could want from a Masters of the Universe figure. So yeah, that's my little bit of introduction to how this has come along, because I didn't really plan on getting Master of the Universe Classics line, but having looked at them online and on the secondary market, there's incredible ones that I'd love to get as well. But for the moment, this is going to be the one that I want. So let's have a look at the packaging. So as you can see, it's part of the Classics line, and we have got Wun-Dar, the Savage He-Man, in there, and you can see a couple of the accessories. You know, he's got 2 swords, he's got a ray gun. There's something here. What could this be? It could be the greatest accessory ever put into a toy. Don't get me wrong, the fishing rod that comes with Masterpiece Hot Rod has always been an incredible accessory to have with a toy. Just the thought idea of having that connection to Transformers the movie, this accessory, which once I let it escape from the plastic prison, you will see what it is. For those that can guess what it's going to be, I'll leave that where it is. But as you can see, the packaging has got little bits of lightning, you know, when He-Man alofts his sword in front of Castle Grayskull, and we've got the Castle Grayskull bricks going on in, you know, a dark, gloomy Eternian backdrop there. So yeah, the packaging is really cool. It's going to be a shame to get it out of the box, but I've got plenty of toys still mint in steel boxes that are going to stay in there forever. But this He-Man is going to come out of the package definitely. But even before we get out of the packages, let me read the bio on the back. So I'll read that in a moment, but before I get there, let's have a look at some of the other figures in the line. So King Grayskull, a character I've sadly not heard of, and then you've got the Goddess, which if you look back at vintage He-Man toys, that became the Teela model, and they talk a bit more about that on the Netflix show. You've got Wun-Dar, Skeletor, Merman, and what's that? Is that Scarecrow? I get it's not a Scareglow, sorry, I'm reading backwards. That's again not a character that I'm familiar with. But for me, as part of the packaging goes, I mentioned it before, it's part of the whole toy experience, and it harkens back to when you did go and get action figures in the 80s and the 90s, that you always had what was available in that wave on the card back. And I love seeing stuff like that, and it always just bring back absolute nostalgia feels when it comes to toy collecting and buying action figures. And I've gone mental lately with action figures. I've just renewed a love of action figures, and it was something that was missing from the collection. I've mentioned before that it's mostly been Mask and Action Force vehicles and G1 Transformers and a couple of third party and just random bits here and there, and I just knew that action figures were lacking from the collection, and I've just got into the swing of it, picking up cheap ones for under a tenner, picking up ones for about 20 quid, picking up ones on sealed boxes for cheap, just people that are getting them. I've picked them up in independent toy stores, I've picked them up on eBay, I've spoken to other toy collectors and friends that are sorting me out with deals, and then I've done some medium priced ones. You know, I'm not one to talk about prices. I'll only mention it here and there when I feel that it's appropriate, and I haven't overspent on this. You'd think, being that it is so much of a rarity now, that, you know, I think some of these are going for you know, upwards of £100. But yeah, I digress. Let me read the back for you. So, Wun-Dar, the Savage He-Man. Real name, Wun-Dar. 100 years before Prince Adam was born, Wun-Dar, a warrior from deep in the savage underground city of Tundaria, rescued a young woman who turned out to be the goddess of Eternia. She provided him with a cosmic battle armour and sophisticated ray gun that could tap into almost unlimited power. the goddess tasked Wun-Dar to protect both halves of the sword of He and keep them apart lest they fall into the hands of evil. Like many warriors before him, Wun-Dar became known as the He-Man, battling in a savage way to keep evil from obtaining the key to the great power inside the long-forgotten Castle Grayskull. What an incredible story! It slightly tells a bit of the backstory of how He-Man came along. You know, he was this version of a He-Man was, 100 years before Prince Adam was gifted the Sword of Power, and it invokes just lots of mystery, intrigue, nostalgia, and I'm not even onto the figure yet, so let me crack it open and let's have a look at the figure. So here we have Wun-Dar, or Wonderbread He-Man, free from the plastic prison. So as you can see, it slightly differs from He-Man, and it's done as an inspiration from the Wonderbread He-Man, which I think it's the mid-90s. A picture came up on the internet of a He-Man with dark hair, black boots, brown fur loincloth, and the black version of Zodak's armour. And there's all the rumours of it being a promotion with Wonderbread in the early 80s that, he was a mail-away figure with trading cards and Wonderbread. So that's why you get this interesting character of Wun-Dar, Wonderbread He-Man. They chose to name him Wun-Dar in reference to Wonderbread, but they obviously created the backstory for him. And this is my first experience of the classic range, and they are phenomenal. They just incredibly poseable with ankle tilts, knee bends, leg bends. Has it got a waist swivel? No, there's no waist swivel. You've got joints all over the elbows, arms. But for me, what I love about this type of He-Man, Wun-Dar, is that he comes with his sword and a ray gun. And, He-Man typically does never fire lasers. So it's really cool to have a figure that uses both the sword and, a laser pistol, a ray gun. It harkens back to my love of Bespin Luke. I always liked the idea that he had the lightsaber and the weapons belt, and planned on using both those weapons. That's where my love of this type of character kind of comes from. He also comes with another half of the Sword of Power. So you've got the back, and it can obviously clip into another. But yeah, he's incredible. I seem to be just hitting the jackpot with figures that I've been buying lately, because they're either invoking nostalgia or bringing back something to life that sadly I'd forgotten about in my childhood and my teenage years, to even just like 10 years ago. It's super cool, and it's such an oddity. And on the back there is the 3 dots of the Wonderbread logo. They've put so much thought into this figure, and again, pretty much every review I do, it's just like, yeah, this is awesome, this is phenomenal, this is like the coolest thing ever. But again, it is all those things. But I can't come this far and not show you the accessory. You get a actual loaf of bread that comes with the figure, which is hilarious, and it just adds to that oddity and that love of action figures that come with accessories just to make highly obsessed toy collectors like myself just constantly keep falling in love with toy collecting and just living the dream and being a ultimate child when it comes to toy collecting. This, I don't know what to say, it's just I always get flustered when I get super excited over toys, and especially after wanting a Masters of the Universe figure for so long. Yeah, so this has been the 2010 Masters of the Universe Classics Savage He-Man, Wun-Dar, Wonderbread He-Man, whatever you want to call him. Being the most powerful man in the universe isn't all that makes He-Man such a great hero. Being strong is fine, but there's something even better. On occasion, He-Man used something even more powerful than his muscles to beat Skeletor. Do you know what that was? If you said his brain, you were right. And just like a muscle, your brain is something you can develop to give yourself great power. So now you know. And knowing is half the battle.